Alright, so now we are going to talk about how to create the different details, the screws and burn marks on all metal of the barrel. Okay, so it's very important that we zoom in and look at all these details and learn from the reference, guys. So as a modeling artist, as a modeler, you always need to refer to your reference. Reference is so important, especially when you're learning. Okay, you have not understand all the objects in the world. Okay, all of us we need to learn a lot. And then if you ever work in a company, you need to refer to the reference that the concept artist has designed. You need to nail down to every single detail that the concept artist has drawn. Okay, so if you don't have a concept, you refer to what we have in real life. We need to refer to the real life reference that is there for you. Then you'll be able to pick up all the details and learn and observe and get better yourself how to make all this object look like a barrel that is on your reference. If we can represent an object as close to our reference as possible, we would have succeeded. Okay, so let's get started. First, I'll go to my 3 metal strips. I'll do a merge down to merge down this subtool layer to the bottom. So I want to combine them so that I have 4 strips all together. So I'll just do a merge, press merge down. So now I'll merge down top to the bottom. If it prompts you to ask you if it's okay, it's not an undoable operation, just press yes, because what is happening is that Zbrush stores all the undos on each subtool layer. So by merging, you will have lost all the undos over there, and it's difficult for you to get those back, but it's okay. We know what we are doing, right? And at any time, actually, just for info, you can also split to parts, and we are able to bring back each individual parts into different subtools again. Okay, just for your information. Okay, so now I'll go to the top left corner. You see this IMM Industrial Parts. Okay, I'm going to use this as my screw. So I'll create IMM screws on the right side of the model. So you can see that on the right side, there's all these small nice screws that the people did hammer into the barrel so that to keep it in this shape that we see. Okay, so we should do that. If you cannot find IMM barrel, so you should press B to locate your brush, then you press I to search for all the I brushes. And so you have all the list of IMM brushes that we have, and then you'll be able to locate one of these that has a screw in it. Okay, so I'll use this one that has a screw. When we create these screws, we'll do a drag and it'll be applied. Then we are able to create these screws on the spot that we drag it out. Okay. The settings that I'm currently using is active symmetry on X, Y, and Z. Okay, so if you have radius symmetry on previously, remember to off it. And then I want the symmetry to be only on X, Y, and Z. Okay, so I'll just go to this side here. It's also important to take note that my draw size is 4. Why is the draw size important? Because later I'll make every single screw to be the same size. So my draw size will make every single screw to be the same size. Okay, when I left click and drag it out on the side here like this, I can vary the size. But I want it always to be on the same size. So after I drag it out, I'll hold down Ctrl. So it will control the size. Control to control the size. And then you're done. You created the screw at this spot. And it looks pretty close to our reference. Okay. So what we created here is the screw is now I'm trying to zoom in for you to see. It's now stuck to this metal strip here. So I actually want to separate them. So every time I actually use an IMM brush, like I created a screw, I would separate them. So how do I separate them? I press split unmasked points. Split unmasked point, I would separate the screws into another subtool layer. It's very important that we know what this does. We would create each of these screws on a different subtool layer. Okay, so let's do that. Split unmasked point. I'll do a few more times so you understand what I'm doing. Left click, drag it out, hold down Control the size, so that every time I hold down Control and then I let go of my mouse, it's a size of 10. So this screw and this screw is the same. Once I'm done, I'll press split unmasked point. Then the screw is here. See, my screws are all on different layers because I press split unmasked points. Now the third one on top, I'll do it again. Drag it out, hold down Ctrl, split unmasked points, bam. Top one, go to the center, drag it out, hold down Ctrl so that the size is 10, let go, split unmasked points, bam. So now all these screws is on the left side. And then I think the distance is a little bit different. I don't need to be too anal about it. I think the size is actually okay, a little bit organic. So it looks like the workers are not super accurate every single time, you know. So their screws are a bit different in the positions. So there's depth screws and there's right screws. There's front part, there's no screws. Looking pretty good. Okay, so I actually prefer to go back and merge down all the screws to the same layer. So I'll actually go ahead and do that. So merge these 3 screws together. I'll actually change the naming of this layer to screw. While I'll do that, might as well name every layer this metal strip. This is the barrel. Okay. So on my metal strip, I probably want to add in a little bit more details. I'm looking at all these burn marks and some of these textures. So I'll go to my number 8 brush, see what I can do. I can use this one that I was previously using. I off my symmetry, press down alternate. So I'm pushing in on some of these textures. So I'm carving this texture into the strips. Okay, so just to add a little bit, I probably don't want to overdo it as well. I just want to make it a little bit different and uneven on certain areas. And I'll rotate it to do it a few times throughout. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So add a little bit of difference to the surfacing of the metal. So it looks like it went through some wear and tear, and then I'm going to use this other one. So it looks like this, and then maybe I'll just press alternate again. So it creates some crack sort of thing. It's pretty subtle, okay, but I think it makes a difference, especially when it kind of treats the edges. Looking for some happy accident sometimes. I don't exactly know. Ooh, so that's pretty cool. Why not I keep it there? Actually, no, probably too much. Ha ha ha. So you can decide whether you want to keep some of these happy accidents. For me, I like to still keep it more realistic. And if I have the time, as I told you, I'll actually go in and use my number 1 brush and maybe push in on some of these details here. Make the intensity really small. And want to make a difference to the dense. At the same time, this is a very thin strip right now, so we need to be a little bit careful when we do things like this. It's really sensitive. So maybe I'll just use a intensity of 1. Okay, so number 1 brush, intensity 1. It's all in the subtlety of how you apply some of these effects. Okay, and maybe give it a bit indication that these metal strips are going this direction. I don't want to do too much. It's kind of like overdoing it as well. But I do like to go in and tweak a little bit on those areas that look too perfect. Okay, so this is my front. I think I'm quite okay with my front part. And yeah, I think that's the end of this barrel. We can of course spend more time to go into the little small details, but I think that part is actually it's gonna take some time, so I don't want to make the video too long. Okay, so if you want to do that, remember my advice: zoom in on a spot, make the strokes always has 3 variations. So every single of your wood grain cracks or your burn marks, there should be 3 different size. Big size, big and deep, medium size, and then small size. And then everything when it's spaced apart, for example, I space apart my crack over here, and I space apart my crack over here, and then I space apart another crack over here. So the so the distance between them should have a difference as well. So all the green distance between each of the different things, there should be 3 different distance between them. So there should be wider gaps, there should be small gaps, and then there should be medium gaps or no gaps. So you vary the sizes, you vary the thickness, you vary the gaps of how you apply your different strokes, and then you will make something more and more organic and more aesthetic. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.